Welcome to AI Signals. On this channel, we look beyond the latest AI news to understand how AI is changing the way organizations operate. Every episode focuses on a different industry. Some episodes explore finance, other hospitality, healthcare, software engineering. Today, we're talking about supply chain. Supply chain is one of the hardest environments for AI to succeed. Not because it's the most complex, but because it's the industry of exceptions. On paper, supply chain looks incredibly structured. Forecast the demand, create a purchase order, receive goods, manufacture, ship, deliver. That's the documented process. But anyone who's worked in supply chain knows reality looks very different. A supplier misses a shipment, a customer changes an order, a container gets stuck in custom, a quality issue is discovered, factory goes offline, someone requests an urgent delivery. Well, the planner checks SAP, then Outlook, then Teams, then Excel, calls the supplier, asks finance for approval, updates 3 different systems. The documented process lasted about 5 minutes. Everything after that is exception management. That's why supply chain isn't really the business of moving products. It's the business of managing exceptions. Traditional automation assumes the process stays the same. Supply chains don't. What's fascinating is that a very large amount of important AI announcements over the past month points towards exactly this challenge. AI designed for the messy reality of enterprise work. On the 24th of June, the French LLM creator Mistral announced major improvements to its enterprise connectors. At first glance, this sounds like a technical announcement. Connectors, permissions, security, debugging, but underneath it is much bigger signal. Companies don't work inside one application. A planner works across SAP, Outlook, Teams, Excel, supplier portals, PDFs, shared folders, internal databases. Every one of those systems contain part of the process. The ERP isn't wrong, it's simply incomplete. The workflow exists across dozens of systems. Mistral isn't just building connectors, they are acknowledging the reality that enterprise work is fragmented. A few weeks later, they introduced version control for prompts and AI skills. Their problem statement is surprisingly familiar. Prompts are spread out. Different versions exist. Nobody knows which one is current. Ownership is unclear. That sounds exactly like supply chain knowledge. The official SOP says one thing, the experience planner has another approach. Procurement uses one spreadsheet, operation uses another, customer service has its own workaround. Organizations think they have one process, in reality they have hundreds of small variations. AI didn't create that fragmentation, it exposed it. On June 30th, Anthropic introduced Claude Science, built for researchers. Researchers work across scientific papers, databases, lab software, documents, notes. No single application contains the complete workflow. Neither does supply chain. The interesting part isn't that Claude became smarter. The interesting part is that it coordinates work across many different systems. This is a different vision for enterprise AI. Not replacing ERP, not replacing Excel, connecting them, coordinating them, helping people work across them. On July 9th, Meta introduced Muse Spark 1.1. Its goal is to allow AI to operate across changing applications while adapting as situations evolve. That matters because exceptions never arrive one at a time. A supplier delays production. While you're solving that, demand increases. The transportation cost changes. Then another customer changes an order. The workflow changes while you're still executing it. Traditional automation follows a script. Supply chains don't. Meta's announcements reflect something planners have known for decades. The process is constantly changing. The final signal comes from a paper released by SAP researchers on June 24th. They studied how AI changes enterprise work. Their conclusion wasn't that AI simply automates jobs. Instead, AI changes roles, responsibilities, approvals, collaboration. Imagine today's planner. They detect the exception, investigate it, call the supplier, update SAP, notify customer service. Tomorrow, AI may perform many of those activities. The planner becomes responsible for judgment, negotiation, prioritization, exception, customers. The work is simply changing. These 5 signals tell one coherent story. Mistral tells us work is fragmented and that knowledge is fragmented across people and documents. Anthropic shows AI becoming the coordination layer across fragmented work. Meta shows AI adapting while the workflow changes. SAP reminds us that once AI enters the organization itself must change. For years, we've tried to automate the documented process. But the documented process isn't where supply chains create value. Value is created in the exceptions, in the judgment, in the conversations, in the trade-offs, in the decision people make when reality refuses to follow the plan. So before asking, how can AI automate this process? Ask a different question. Do we actually understand how this work gets done? Because the companies that succeed with AI won't necessarily have the smartest models. They'll be the ones that understand their own operations well enough to redesign them around AI. Thanks for listening. This was AI Signals. If today's episode made you think differently about how AI could transform your organization, we'd love to explore it with you. My team at Slash helps companies design and implement AI solutions that work in the real world, not just in demos, but in the complex reality of day-to-day operations. You'll find a link to get in touch with us in the description. If you're ready to explore what AI could mean for your business, get in touch. And if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to AI Signals. In the next episode, we'll look at another industry and ask, what signals is AI sending us now?